The Mario & Luigi franchise is one of Nintendo's most comical and beloved properties. With the help of Alpha Dream Team, they have managed to consistently make several engaging titles that have brought immense satisfaction and joy to countless fans. Most notable of them all, Bowser's Inside Story. Many people have praised it for its incredibly innovative gameplay and exceptionally memorable soundtrack. And it's the latter that I plan to explore with all of you today. Join me as we soundtrack dip into Bowser's Inside Story. Alright, part 3, let's do this, y'all. So happy to see y'all back. If you guys haven't seen part 1 and part 2 yet, there will be a playlist in the description you guys can go ahead and catch up. Based on the rate that I'm discussing these songs, I want to guess that the next part 4, will probably be the last one. I don't know, but that's just a guess. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the ones in this one end up being so fire that I end up talking about them longer, and the same thing happens to the next one, and then there'll be a part 5. I don't know, whatever. Let's just jump back into it. Let's get things off with a new area theme. Grasslands All the Way couldn't be more fitting, because honestly, it's Grasslands all the way or the highway. And wow, this song is good. It's funny, because I feel like I've definitely heard this track before, but I just have no idea where. I want to say it was probably some other YouTuber's video when they played it in the background. When I heard this track while writing this vid, it's like I got reunited with an old friend I haven't seen in years because I instantly recalled the melody for it. Literally, just having done that, I can feel myself wanting to tear up. It makes no sense to me why I would have a nostalgic connection to this one. This song very well might just be a really gorgeously composed song and can easily move listeners without them even realizing it. I know I just sung it already, but seriously, please give me a jam session of that. Am I the only one, by the way, that feels like this little verse has a little Super Mario-ness to it? It's like dun 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 da 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 da. Am I the only one? I feel like I'm the only one. I feel like I'm crazy here. Am I the only one?
Yes.
Okay. If I had to make one nitpick, of course I haven't seen the whole map of the Grasslands yet, so I could be judging prematurely, but to me this track almost feels a bit too happy-go-lucky for what this map looks like. This feels like a song you'd be playing as sort of a victory tune for having defeated the main game, and there's a secret bonus world that this track would play in. Think the secret space world from Mario 3D World, kind of that same concept. It is just a nitpick though. I really love this track and I think it's fine where they have it. In fact, I think this now surpasses the Mysterious Forest as my favorite area theme in this game, at least for the time being. And as expected, there's an inside version, which I think is alright. Strong part of the original being so good is the crazy catchy melody, which this naturally also has, just in that inside Bowser genre, or as I like to refer to it, that 80s arcade genre. There's other inside Bowser tracks I feel like I like better than this, Beachside just to name one. It's just that this one loses a bit of that initial enchantment that the original had, which made me love it so much. But all in all, not a bad track, still very enjoyable to me. Next up, we have the outside version of the first track we hear when we enter Bowser. I'm not sure if we were intended to hear this one earlier or not, but anyways, it's here now that we got into this new area. The name in particular is very alluring. What secret are we meant to find here? I guess we shall see soon. I think this version is pretty solid. Makes me like that initial track a little bit more now. I just thought it was pretty average at first. But these outside versions really help the tracks stand out from each other more, which is honestly really clever when you think about it. All these places look different in their own ways and hence sound different from one another. But when you're inside Bowser, nothing really changes. It's just being inside of Bowser still. That's why all the tracks inside Bowser have the same 80s arcade feel. Bowser may have changed locations, but the Mario Bros at the end of the day are still inside Bowser, so you get these songs in the same style because they're technically still in the same overall place. I probably didn't explain that all too well, but hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to say. It's insanely smart what they did here. I digress though. I wanted to point out that for whatever reason, this track reminds me of the Fortress theme from Mario Bros. 3 when you're walking through the castle to fight one of the bosses. It's very slight, but there's that same feeling where you know there's gonna be this big fight coming up at the end of the level. Maybe that's what the secret is. There's like a secret and yet again nearly impossible to beat boss battle. Well, as a matter of fact, once Bowser makes it to the castle, he discovers that Fawful has been brainwashing all his minions, and now they don't even know who he is. Man, this one is very theatrical. Just that bit at the top going, hey! This is what Fawful's all about, man. Presentation! The full track is pretty much entirely synthesized, lacking any sort of instrumentation. It's like all the natural world elements are absent and all that's left is this mechanical, robotic, ominous music. We see the inside of Bowser's castle just completely engulfed with Fawful's image. Bowser with glasses looks funny as hell, by the way. There's a verse in this song that uses the same kind of synthesizer that they use for some of the tracks in Super Mario 64. That kind of gives me a little bit of nostalgia. The music in that game just... oh man, I really gotta do a video on that one. Anyways, Bowser is informed by one of his brainwashed minions that Fawful's show is about to commence. And Bowser just so happens to be a VIP and the special guest for tonight's performance. By the way, can I just point out how funny it is that an alien from Partners in Time is just casually sat watching this? That's just the greatest Easter egg ever to me. So Fawful makes Bowser fight Midbis for everyone's viewing pleasure. There's dogfights in this game now. How quaint. After Bowser gives Midbis a couple of knuckle sandwiches, Fawful treats him to a grand celebratory feast, where he gets force-fed so much food that he begins to start packing on some serious pounds. So much pounds that new parts begin to open up inside of his body for the brothers to explore. Let me take this chance to talk about the inside version of the Koopa Castle theme. I sort of suspected this would be the case, but both of these on the whole sound really identical. Since the original was already heavy on the synthesizer, the inside version, which has had all the other versions synthesized too, would pretty much be about the same. It is different, like you can tell the difference between the two tracks if you listen closely enough. Like the inside version sounds more ominous than the other track was already. But there's not too much more that I have to remark on this one. Yeah, it's fine generally speaking, let's carry on. Mario and Luigi bounce their way across Bowser's blubbery body and finally locate Princess Peach. Okay, this is way too early. She's definitely gonna get... yeah, there she goes. They run to try and rescue her, but run into this lady of the stomach acid or something, and she teaches them how to use the badges in battle. The bros save Princess from... grape. But seriously, this boss battle is kind of epic, I'm not gonna lie. Once that's done, they all try and find a way out of Bowser. Fawful exclaims that there has been a change in his evil plans and he now needs Bowser to puke up Peach, who, like the brothers, Bowser wasn't aware was in him. Peach believes that Fawful might be after the Dark Star. While she explains what this is, another foreboding track comes up, a little synonymous to Bowser's theme and composition. It even has some of the same instrumentation. It's likely mirroring the fact that Fawful has taken over Koopa Kingdom, therefore becoming the new Bowser in a way. That is a nice touch, honestly. So essentially, Peach explains that the Dark Star is a force of immense evil power that is hidden underneath Toad Town. If Fawful were to get a hold of it, he would succeed in conquering Mushroom and Koopa Kingdom. Princess Peach is the only one who can gain access to it, which is why Fawful wants her out of Bowser's body. And seeing as how we're probably halfway through the game at this point, he gets her out of his body. He leaves with her and also leaves behind a treadmill for Bowser to lose weight, which he does, burning it off so quick that he literally burns up and blasts himself into next week, or the next area, I guess. He ends up in a cave that shares the same music as the area that led to Bowser's castle. So that one's probably a default track of sorts, used for less important areas of the game. A few more smaller things happen. Bowser uses a drill to get into Toad Town. The brothers do a minigame to help him by powering up his legs. Later, Bowser gets zapped trying to go into a restricted area, which opens up yet another zone for the bros to explore. And it's here that we get what most people seem to agree to be the strangest concept in the game. Bowser apparently has swallowed many different warp pipes, and so the brothers now have a way to get back out into the Mushroom Kingdom and outside of Bowser. I agree with Luigi's reaction to this.
Wow.
Yeah, right, as if to say, wow, Nintendo, you were really smoking it up the day you came up with this idea, huh? Hit him with it again, Luigi.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
So they use the pipe and it takes them to the Toad Town caverns, and from here we get access to Toad Town. I had no clue this track was gonna make a comeback. I kind of thought it was a cutscene song, so I decided to skip it. Okay, well this is a cute and, as I mentioned way back in the first episode, really jovial tune. It matches the vibe of a civilization run with tons of small helpless little creatures, in this case the toads. It's not all that great in my opinion. I think it's cute and all, but I don't know, I just don't like it as much as I like the other tracks, and it's really kind of bland and doesn't stand out that much, and oh my god, kinda like a toad. I get it now. I changed my mind. This track is perfect and sounds exactly what it should sound like. No, for real, this one is whatever to me. Sorry to the fans of this one. I'm probably putting it under Stolen Koopa Castle. In fact, let me get the inside track out of the way now because I'm betting that that's probably not going to be any better. Well, I stand corrected. You know, sometimes this inside Bowser 80s arcade vibe really helps some of the tracks out. This is the biggest example of that. The original version, there was something about the instrumentation that I just didn't really vibe with that much. It came off as annoying as Toad is when he talks. It's like not really that annoying, but it's like annoying enough that you wouldn't want to be around it for too long. But this really did strike me as a lot better. The song was already pretty memorable, but this really brings out the catchiness much more than the original. I don't know what other people think of this track, which is why I would like you guys to go ahead and comment what your opinions is on this one. I really need to know what your guys' takes are on this. The brothers make their way to the Dark Star, but find that they are just barely beaten there by Fawful, who makes off with it. They try to get to Peach's castle before he does, but before they can, the way gets blocked. So they head to Toad Town to try and brainstorm a new plan. By the way, as much as I think Toad Town is meh, I think that the design of Toad Town is outstanding. I love the shops and locales. It's the nicest I've ever seen Mushroom Kingdom look, like ever, if we aren't including the movie, I mean. And just shopping in all the different places here, man, I wish I had this game as a kid. This is just a fun setting to explore. It feels like I'm playing a Pokemon game. The team did a stellar job of this. I don't think I've yet played a Mario game that lets you walk around and explore the Mushroom Kingdom with all its Toad civilians and employees and doctors. Man, this is just a magnificent world they put together. Jealousy to the people who grew up playing this game is skyrocketing right now. And you know, I gave it a little bit of flack before, but I kind of like the Toad Town song a little more now because of this area. Still underneath Koopa Castle for me, but I would say that instead of it just being okay, I would say that it's pretty good. One of the many places to go to in Toad Town is Dr. Toadley's clinic. Here is where we meet Dr. Toadley. The bros need an appointment in order to speak with him, so they fake being sick to get checked up immediately. Before I say anything about this track, Luigi pretending to be sick gives me life. Oh. This song is very well made. The synthesized reverbed tunes are the shit. It's got a similar feeling to a scientific lab. The bit crush that all the songs have really works a treat with this song specifically. I feel like this track also would work if they were to put it in a mini game or something that's like related to being a doctor and performing surgeries. You get the picture. This track was designed exactly how we all perceive video game doctor/scientist music to sound. Sorry, I find great difficulty in describing this style. It's fitting is the point that I'm trying to make. Anyways, as the bros speak with Dr. Toadley, Bowser interjects and starts a fight with them. This is so dope. You have to start dodging the attacks that you'd usually be attacking enemies with as Bowser. This is such a fun little twist in the gameplay. Very clever move from the creators. Once they defeat him, they continue talking to Dr. Toadley. He says that the only way to knock down the walls blocking the way to Peach's castle and also to stop the blorbs, almost forgot about that for a second, is to find the 3 star cures. Bowser overhears this and decides to try and collect all of them before the brothers do. Dr. Toadley reveals that a creature located in Dimble Woods, which so happens to be one of the creatures Bowser sucked up in the brother's face when inside of him, is actually one of the sages. So they make their way back inside of Bowser using another pipe that goes inside Bowser. God, that's stupid. But the creature gets out of reach for the time being. Meanwhile, Bowser makes his way to Dimblewoods and on the way passes through a new water area. This track has a light feel to it. It's probably related to the slight weightlessness of swimming in water. Out comes the wind instruments because how much lighter can you get than wind? And they also include a little harp solo for the bridge. This track reminds me of Partners in Time, specifically the File Select theme. It has that same tranquil and delicate feel to it. It's relatively short in comparison to the other area themes, and so is the area itself. I'm judging that solely based on the gameplay footage that I'm watching. It kind of looks like it's a bridge between worlds as opposed to a whole world itself. It's basically like the road leading to the secret theme, except, well, I'm sure they didn't want to play that track here because it's not very befitting the environment. I enjoy this one, but the length is kind of short, leaving us with a pretty short loop, and the other tracks were so much better at making a loop that wouldn't get tiring very quickly. And this one becomes a little bit tiring after a while, so under Toad Town, it's my new least favorite. How about we wrap this episode up with the inside version? Again, the ones I like the least usually end up sounding better inside of Bowser than they do outside. There's more heft to it now, though compared to the other tracks inside of Bowser, this is probably still the lightest. I think it's really nice, and I think it's yet again better than the original. Wow, we pushed through quite a few of them here. Like I mentioned, I think that the next episode will probably be the wrap up for this series, so if you guys have been enjoying this, please join us next week for more Bowser's Inside Story. You won't want to miss it. Have I talked about your favorite song yet? If so, did you agree with my opinion on it? If not, please go ahead and comment down what you thought differently from me. Tell me all your thoughts. I would love to hear it. Leave a like and touch that ding dong to get notified when a new video drops. And if you didn't like this, don't worry. You could still leave a like, comment, subscribe, and touch that ding dong. I will see you guys then.